Hello and welcome. So in this video, we'll continue and write the CSS for the coding animation component. All right. So let me get to the code side. All right. So now let's start with parent coding. Okay. So I'm gonna make this thing a grid with left, right, and so basically I'll be using grid template areas and divide the four components. All right. So now let me start off by giving this copying this and creating a new okay, I'm supposed to create a file. So I'm gonna create a file and the file name would be coding animation.css. Okay, and I'm gonna give this thing as parent coding and I'm gonna give it as display grid and grid template areas, which will help me refine the layout. Yeah, I'm gonna write left, right, and left bottom and right bottom. All right, so this will be the grid template area. So if you guys do not know about grid, then you can check out the CSS documentation of grids. So it's just like flex, but it's kind of different. So, and I'm gonna give a gap between all of these components of like of 10 pixels. Gap is nothing but just like margin. You can consider all of the margins of like 10 pixels, both bottom and both horizontally and vertically. All right, so now I'm gonna write grid template columns. The the column size would be 2 frames and 2 frames, so totally we have 4 frames. It's not like I can also write, if I write 1 frame, it will take about you know uh 100% of the space, and if I write one frame, it will take about 50%. I'm just increasing this thing, so doesn't really matter. And now I'm gonna write grid template rows as 1 fr and 1 fr. All right, so that is how I'm going to divide it. So before that, I'm just going to import this coding animation right over here. I don't know if I'm able to do it. Yeah, coding animation.css. All right, so as soon as I do it, as you can see that it's divided into 4 components. So let me uncomment and show you guys. So this is uncommented. There you go. It's kind of okay, it's kind of in a very bad shape. Now if I uncommented, you can see that it's automatically in a shape. So if you guys do not know, so it's taking the space of left and right. So now we will maybe take the components, each component, and assign the left, right, left bottom, right bottom to every component. All right, so now we'll be starting out with right parent first. All right, and then we will move on to the other components. Okay, so okay, let me just quickly do the important stuff, like left, which is, you can see, left is this component. All right, so left component would have the grid area as left. Where did I get this left from? So I myself have written it. So if I write 1 2 3 1 2 3, I don't know if 1 2 3 works, but 1 2 3 1 2 3 would, I if I just write this thing, I don't know if it allows me to write numbers, but it's just like a syntax that we follow. All right, so let me just make it left so that I know that this is left. All right, and now over here I'm gonna give the color as hashtag FFF, because whatever the text that is there inside it should be white. All right, and now the same thing for the other divs as well. The right one would have grid area as third, right. All right, so it will just move to the right, and then I'm gonna give the width of 30 ch. Okay, so it's gonna take almost the whole place required. All right, so that is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna make this thing again the color as FFF, that is white. All right, so now let me save it off, and I'm gonna do the same for left bottom and right bottom. So feel free to forward the video if you want. Grid area, left B, all right, and right bottom, grid area, right B. All right, so if I do this thing, so there you go. If you can see, I can interchange the components. Now look at it. So it's supposed to interchange, right? So I've not saved it, right? So anyways, so now I guess we're pretty much sorted with this particular part. Okay. We can also add test cases. Well, never mind. We don't need that. And now the next part is, why did I open it 2 times? Next part is to write the CSS for the parent coding. So now in order to make it 3D, we won't make it 3D up now. We'll make it afterwards. So before that, I'm gonna write right parent. All right, right parent, and I'm gonna give a border of 3 pixels, solid, and hashtag 153. So it's a color that Algoexpert follows. That color, the same color that is over here. All right, that color, that would be the border color, and the height that I'm gonna give is 250 pixels. So the right parent would have the size of 250 pixels. All right, so now I'm just gonna open this up whenever I'm supposed to see the thing. So now I'm gonna write hashtag 02203C. All right, and I'm gonna write border radius 4 pixels. Right, and I'm gonna write box shadow. Okay, I'm gonna write 0 pixel and 40 pixels, and it is just a value that I got while making this thing, and I'm gonna make it RGB. All right, 000 divided by 40%. So that thing. All right, so it will be kind of opacity will be kind of low. And now I'm also gonna add one more box shadow, and I'm gonna give some arbitrary values to it. All right, 57.5 px, 70 px, and minus 7.5 px, and I'm gonna say RGB 0 0 0 50%. All right, so now let's look at it. Looks great. We are getting there. No issues. Now after that, we will also be writing for the left parent. So I'm gonna quickly write the CSS for it, and I'm gonna give the same things like height as 250 px and border as 3 px solid, and the background as, yeah, I'm only writing because I want you to see this thing, right? So, and the box shadow, it will have the same styling that this guy has. So well and good. So now let me write the styling for the right bottom parent and the left bottom parent. So the right bottom parent would have the same styling of the right bottom, but it will decrease the size a little bit because we can maybe put the same size, but I'm just gonna go ahead and it's actually it's up to you to do this or not. Anyways, let's move forward, and Okay, now I'm gonna do the same for left bottom parent. So let me just do it. Left bottom parent, right? I'm just gonna copy and paste the whole stuff. So now as you can see, it's taking shape. Okay, it's having a skeleton now. All right, so the next part is the question heading part, you know, the flex column. All right, and so let's see how it rolls out. Now the next thing that we have to do over here is that we need to make sure that the output and all is in flex. So I really have a lot of doubt that this is not flex. Okay, so we have to make it as justify content between. Yeah, I guess this would be it. And yeah, I guess that suffice to tell that we are pretty much sorted on this part. Anyways, so let's move forward and code the other part. Okay, so now right after it, left bottom parent is done, left right everything is done. Now all we gotta do is write the question heading, styling for question heading. All right, so question heading would be of color, of course, FFF. All right, and font family as open sans. All right, font size as 14px, font weight as 600. Right, cool. So now right after that, I'm also gonna give the upper heading as the background color as a little bit different background color. I'm gonna make this thing the border color 15314B. So there you go, it's taking shape, all well and good. Let me just reload it. All right, now the upper heading, the left parent is done, right bottom done, So now comes the tricky part where we would be adding the animation or not the animation or the 3D thing to it. So it's kind of easy, it's not that hard to be very honest. So you just have to make sure that you're not you just have to understand how it works. So before that, I'm just gonna make it justify content between. So justify content between works. Now all we have to do is just make sure that everything is just fine, and I'm gonna give a little bit padding to it as well. Style padding left 18 pixels. Alrighty. Now all we have to do now is just add the 3D to it. So I'm gonna do that in the next video because I guess the video is like of more than 10 minutes, so I just do not want other guys to miss if they miss this part of the video. So see you all guys over there.